I can't imagine something the size of this, Mr. Wheeler, comes cheap. Do you mind me asking, what did it cost you to have this poster made up?
Well, it was probably the best money I've ever spent.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Cornwall, Ontario. Well, folks, I'm on Water Street and I happen upon a fairly nondescript building that is part of the Water Street Business District. Nondescript except for, check this out. Holy wall hanging. That is a gigantic poster of Ezra Levant's #1 best-selling book, The Libranos, but we had nothing to do with this, so what's the story? Well, time to pay a house call and find out what is indeed the story behind the story of getting this giant mural up advertising Ezra Levant's The Libranos book. I can't wait to hear this tale. Well, folks, I'm with Kelly Wheeler. He is a recently retired businessman here in Cornwall, Ontario. And Kelly, I got to tell you, I almost did a double take. Well, actually, a triple take. I'm driving down here. I see this enormous poster advertising the Libranos. First of all, can you confirm that we, the Rebel News Company, we didn't pay for this or rent the space? This is something you put up on your own accord. Is that correct?
That's correct, David. I was glad to do it.
Now, what in the world inspired you to put up this gigantic poster? Hey, listen, not that I'm begrudging it. Who doesn't want free advertising? But what inspired you to do this, Mr. Wheeler?
Well, David, since retirement, I found I've had lots of opportunity to read and, sort of catch up on the news. So what I've been doing is like watching the regular news. I've been married to it like everyone else. And I've become confused about the untruths in the regular media. So I started watching YouTube and I stumbled upon your channel. And, of course, I know your whole crew. Sheila and yourself, David and Keenan, and of course Ezra. So, I followed the politics, the federal politics with Mr. Trudeau, with the scandals and that, and I watched the news, but then I stumbled upon this book and I read it, and I found there's a more truthful version of the events. So I read that, and then I talked to most of my friends who are quite most intelligent and hardworking people, and they never read the book. So I recommended the book to many of them. They read it, and of course, I think I've increased some of your fanfare in the process.
That's
unintentionally.
Well, Ms. Wheeler, I got to tell you, what you said is fascinating, and it gives me some insight into, I guess, what happened last fall when the Trudeau Liberals were re-elected almost with another majority. And I know in the circles I travel in, people are stunned. They're saying, how can this be? But my theory is a significant part of the electorate is simply disengaged. And also there is another significant part of the electorate that is getting the narrative from the media party. It is basically the propaganda arm of the Liberal Party of Canada. So they base their opinions on that. But you have found our channel. You have found that we are indeed, as our slogan goes, giving the other side of the story. And suddenly, even a person like you, and you told me off camera in 2015, you voted for the Justin Trudeau Liberals. You've come to a different opinion, haven't you?
Certainly have. And that's correct. I did vote for the Liberals, Justin Trudeau, in 2015. Last election, I didn't. I voted for Maxime Bernier because I believed in mostly what he believes in.
Ms. Wheeler, tell me, what kind of reaction has this ginormous poster advertising Ezra Levant's book received here in Cornwall?
Well, I can't really speak about all the people of Cornwall, but my friends, they never seen this side of me. Like, I've been a serious, working type of individual and never had much of opinion about the news or anything. Never really had time to read other than what really was related to whatever I was doing in construction. So to answer your question, they, of course I have to explain it to them because they don't have that other version of what's actually going on. And you were right when you said whether people are too busy or too consumed in chaos, or I can't say it's the COVID, might be particularly convenient at this time, but just day by day, existence, I don't think allows people to expand their media, their reading or their listening.
I can't imagine something the size of this, Mr. Wheeler, comes cheap. Do you mind me asking, what did it cost you to have this poster made up?
Well, it was probably the best money I've ever spent, but to get to the answer, I had the printing done right over here at a local shop, Boyer Signs. Okay. Great guy. I've been dealing with him for as long as he's been in business. So he charged me for his part of it. I think it was $400 and some. And then, of course, I had to put the 3 sheets of plywood up there, and that's, another couple $100. So, $700 altogether with labor.
Well, that's terrific. I mean, I think most people in this day and age, if they read a book they like, they just press the thumbs up button on the internet. But you went out and dropped $700 of your own cash and displayed it for your fellow residents of Cornwall to see. No one's defaced this poster so far.
No, I never got not one. I never got a lot of pictures taken, a lot of questions. No defacement. I did buy a couple extra copies of the book and give it to my friends as well, so that, I didn't have to explain the whole book to them. But actually, there was I met some interesting people that read the book and just, thought this was your headquarters or something. I said, you gotta be kidding. I said, no, I just threw that up there because I thought it was so interesting and it might be for many good conversations, and it has been.
Well, Mr. Wheeler, I gotta tell you, I think it is an absolute honor that you would go out of your way, spend $700, put in a few hours labor, erect this glorious poster advertising the Libranos. I hope it's resulted in some more book sales for Ezra. And, it's just, we're all touched at Rebel News by your generosity and your show of support. And I want to personally thank you so much for displaying your colors unapologetically, that you love this book so much you decided to get this ginormous poster. Mr. Wheeler, thank you so much.
It's my absolute pleasure, David. And if you get a chance, read that book. Everybody.
Yes, everybody. I have. And one last exit question. Got to ask you this. I know I'm going to put you on the spot here, Mr. Wheeler. Who is your favorite rebel at Rebel News?
Keenan Beckstead.
Fantastic. Well, Kian is a fantastic young hard worker, so I can't disagree with you there. But again, I want to thank you once again for this poster. And you know what? I'm thinking maybe I'll walk across the street and talk to that printer. Maybe it's time I did something like this back in my house in Richmond Hill. So, Mr. Wheeler, you stay safe out there and keep fighting the good fight and keep coming to Rebel News to get the other side of the story.
Thank you, David. And just to reassure anyone, for sure they're all great people at Rebel News. Kian is he's the youngest one, I believe, in your force, and I kind of really appreciate his energy. But once again, you're all great guys. Sheila Gunn, yourself, and of course Ezra.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Wheeler, and again, thank you for your support.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I've got a new book about Justin Trudeau. The CBC does not want you to read it. That's an extra reason to read it. Go to thelibranos.com.